Well, welcome back to the City Conservation Center, everyone. Hope you all are having the most wonderful, wonderful days. I'll be your host this evening, Leaf. It's so great to have you guys back once again for a little bit more of a fun episode. So, the recent habitats of City Conservation Center have been pretty good. I'm having some fun with this series, but I really haven't been able to dive back into, my signature thematic kind of stuff recently, and that's kind of the stuff I really wanted to get into today. So I go a little bit overboard, pun intended, completely unintended actually, but we actually make a sunken ship. Well, not really a sunken ship, more like a wrecked ship, like a shipwrecked shipwrecked ship, and we are building for Komodo dragons, as you guys could probably tell. I really want to have these guys in waters of the world. I forget, water's edge, I think we call it, because I don't know, I just felt like that'd be the right thing to have in this section. Komodo dragons do live on the island of Komodo, and they're just wicked awesome creatures. Like, you guys probably already know that they have the ability to have venom and stuff like that. They're one of the most dangerous monitor lizards out there. They're just an incredible animal, and I really did want to build for them. We actually have some over here at Roger Williams Park Zoo. They are absolutely gorgeous creatures up close. I'm not the biggest fan of Roger Williams habitat, but it makes do. But no, we give these guys both an indoor and an outdoor space. This is something I've been seeing a lot more recently, with, I believe it was Zoo Tampa, and I believe not Naples, I think it's actually Zoo Miami has something kind of like that, and I believe National also does, but I could be mistaken. They have an external part to their reptile house that allows them to go out. It's either that or the Bronx. I forget which one, but either way, I really want to give these guys the ability to go outside, and I kind of mask it up pretty nicely, if I do say so myself. I also go ham with the decals. I wasn't really expecting to do this at first, but I felt like it really does, bring it up a notch, if that makes sense. And we also call it SS Paradiso, because I couldn't really come up with anything more creative than that. So we kind of sink that into the actual ship itself, adjust some of the angles a bit more, and then we get started on the actual outdoor habitat frame. This is something I always like to do. I like to kind of build the frame of the habitat first and foremost, before actually going in to determine where stuff is actually gonna go. So we kind of make it going by kind of like that, and we use a lot of faux rocks on the outside, and we make sure that they aren't really able to climb out by adding a whole bunch of rocky terrain and stuff. They probably would be able to climb out in this case. I should probably go back and add hot wire or something. Hot wire is often used as just very lightly charged electrical wire that a lot of zoos and institutions use to deter animals from climbing out of cages and stuff like that. Let's just say they don't want to completely net something over, they often go for hot wire, and it allows you be able to look down into a habitat, meanwhile the animal really isn't to climb out. So what I also do throughout here is get to work on the actual interior itself. I want it to be nice and kind of basic, as opposed to its very themed exterior. So the interior is really simple. It's just going to be a plaster room with a lot of not decals, but a whole lot of faux rock in there and stuff like that. Some plants and stuff, it keeps it feeling nice and tropical, but I didn't want to go overboard with that because we did spend a lot of I like to set up imaginary budgets for these builds, and seeing as we kind of blew it all on this facade of a boat, I probably didn't want to go too further into the hole in terms of that. You guys may also be wondering why I only did half of the boat over there. And it's because, well, the guests will only see half. Even our monorail folks. I'm going to try and build a wall in between this and the actual monorail. So whenever you do go past it, you'll get something on the other side. Maybe it's an exclusive animal to that side. I'm not really sure, but we'll kind of figure that out as we make our way through. And another thing I really wanted to carry on throughout this entire section is this idea of these wooden beams as the fences. I really do love these. It turned out super fun. I guess I don't really need hot wire since they wouldn't be able to climb out of that kind of stuff. Not really sure. Probably still do though. But making our way throughout here, and I also wanted to work on the actual habitat itself a little bit. I'm really bouncing between a whole bunch of different stuff throughout here, so I apologize. And I also wanted to have these nice kind of like very vaguely Southeast Asian pillars. Nothing really too crazy. I wasn't really going for anything in particular. I was kind of inspired off of my work back in, I want to say, Zootin Tower. I feel like we gotta have like a little tour of that place soon, because it's been a while since I've actually been in there. Lots of really good ideas from way back in the day just sitting in there. Who knows what we might be able to uncover. But making our way throughout here and adding those kind of intermediately throughout that entire build, and we start to add a lot more faux rocks and stuff like that, a lot of pebbles, a lot of boulders and stuff, making it feel like it's a lot more organically worked into the habitat. And I also make sure that this is kind of linked up on the back end as well, so we kind of have like this nice natural slope over there. And we also add some of the other plants that we used back then. So we use our tried and true dogwood rose bush. Again, it's like one of those plants I never know the name of. I gotta like have a cheat sheet right behind my computer that tells me all like the names of the plants and stuff like that. And we also use a saltwort bush, at least I know how to say that one. And we also get to work on the actual roof over here. I was very inspired with the roof over here. Not really sure what I was going for, but I thought it turned out wicked awesome nonetheless. Like, just being able to have this right over there, and then having it be supported by these girders, I thought that was pretty fun to do. And we kind of continue that throughout the build. We kind of have them be placed intermediately all throughout, and we also duplicate that asphalt right over there. I gotta cover up the asphalt on the other side, because as it stands right now, it's just going down into nothing. And from a top-down perspective, I apologize, my computer is dying once again, so I gotta grab my little charger. But no, I gotta make sure that I cover that up, because again, even though I did say I built the boat specifically for the guest angle, I want to make sure that if you're looking at it from top down, everything still looks up to snuff. So I gotta make sure that we do that eventually. You know, maybe I'll do that off camera or something. But making our way throughout here, I start to add a whole bunch of different curbs throughout here. I really do love the curbs that we came up with for the African penguin speed build. So I'm kind of doing that same kind of jazz throughout here. I'm very happy with it all. It just turned out super nice. And it's such a clean kind of look to it that I was very excited to get into all that stuff. So we kind of have that continue all the way throughout there. We make it look nice, we make it look pretty, and we have that little plaza over there for the rest of the guests. Looking into the interior of the habitat, I assume the Komodos would probably be inside most of the time. That's usually how I see these kinds of habitats. They're usually mostly inside than going outside, but maybe on like a hot day like it is right now, oh my god, please, just bring the snow back. Listen, I talked smack about the snow for too long. I'm starting to miss it. But working on the interior over here, we're starting to work on the actual molding for this entire interior. So I'm using the East Asia stone pieces, and I think they turn out really good in there. They really help to kind of bring in a vibe. I don't really know, just all about the vibes, baby. So we kind of work that in right over there, and we kind of have this be like a little bit of a raised platform. Then in the middle, we plop down some plaster, and we kind of color that naturally colored, so we have it be the color of like a nice sand or something. Maybe it actually is sand. Maybe I could go back in there with the decal pieces to make it look like, you know, a little bit more textured sand. And we also use the plaster pieces over here to make kind of like a nice slope into the habitat. I feel like that turned out pretty good. So making this door over here to make sure that our keepers are able to access, then doing a little Komodo dragon access door right there. I thought that was kind of cute. And we also add a whole bunch of mulch in here because I really wanted this area to be planted. And another thing that a lot of people seem to forget is that Komodo dragons can climb, and they can climb very well. A lot of the times you see the pictures of the Komodo dragons and they're just the big beefy boys, but a lot more of the slankier ones, especially the young ones, they can actually climb. They can actually climb really well, kind of like Asian water monitors. and stuff like that. Even Nile monitors. I'm still upset that Nile monitors aren't able to climb, but what can you do? And I also add HVAC throughout here as well. I thought like you would probably need something like that in a build like this. But yeah, they can climb, so I add a few climbing frames for them on the interior. I don't have any on the exterior. I think I have like maybe a few rocks for them to bask on. But that's really about it. But I start to get really funky with the plants in here. Not really funky, but I still have a lot of fun with it. I'm using like the, I use the hyacinths in there. I thought that was pretty cute to use. I'm also using some of the orchids, the ferns, and all that stuff, the bromeliads, just a lot of really fun pieces in there. And then I start to work on the exterior as well. Still keeping in mind like the kind of same palette that we had back for the African penguin, so I'm using a lot of those same themes, a lot of those same plants, and again, using all my periwinkles and sinking them slightly into the ground. And I also add a few reeds over there because it is an aquatic build. I really wanted to make sure that it feels like it's, you know, kind of growing out of there. Also, that mpingo tree, I think I may replace a small one with a big one just to get, I don't know, a little bit more shadow texture. Again, one of the things that I really suggest you guys start to play with in Planet Zoo is working with the shadows. I know, it sounds pretty funky, but being able to use these big trees and create shade for your guests as well as inside the habitat can really go a long way. That's kind of what I was doing right there with that tree, and you could see that the pathway's kind of like blacked out a little bit more. I mean, of course it's blacked out, it's asphalt, but still, you guys know what I mean. I'm also adding a few hedges throughout here as well to keep this area feeling nice, natural, and paved in. And that's about it for our speed build today, guys. A little bit of a funky one, but I hope you guys appreciate that. It's been a while since we had like kind of like a fun one like this, so I hope you guys appreciate it. I hope you guys are all having the most wonderful, wonderful days. I know it's been quite some time since I was able to like sit down with you guys for a speed build. I know it's kind of like, yeah, I really haven't been doing too many recently, but I hope you guys are appreciating everything that's coming out recently. Hope you guys are still having the most wonderful days, first and foremost, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video. Take care, and yeah, I already told you I have a wonderful day, but you know what? I'm gonna do it again. Have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Bye-bye now, guys.